सो हेलो एवरीवन गाइस, वेलकम टू द क्लास फॉर AIATC। और आज हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे बीट्स, राइट, जिसको कि विच वी नोन इन हिंदी दिस इज नोन एज विस्पंद, right? So beats is a very small concept. Sometimes questions come, sometimes question doesn't come, but you should read it. Many one are asking me ki sir, which concept is important, which concept is not important. So just consider one thing, guys. AI exam is very varying in nature, right? So you should study everything. You don't know which chapter will be covering more questions which year, right? Because every time it's having a changing pattern, right? So you can't predict from the previous papers. So better would be you just go through all the concepts, you just go through all the concepts of class 11th and 12th physics and study everything in detail, right? So I'm trying to cover everything, and many one will be thinking ki some concept will be should we skip some portion or not, should we go through all the concepts or not. So yes, obviously you should go through all the concepts, and you should not skip any portion in the class 11th and 12th physics, right? Because every time exam is varying. Sometimes wave optics and modern physics was covering around 20 questions out of 30. Previous year some question from rotational physics also came, right? Earlier rotational physics was absent. Last year electromagnetism had a major portion, like 7 to 8 question was minimum, I think 7 to 8 question out of 30. So you can say ki you should not stick to any particular concept, or you should not stick to any particular year ki what questions are coming, right? So you should study everything. Let us not waste our time in these discussions, because this discussion we can do in the separate video. Let us try to cover the beats, very important, which is a very important concept. I'm trying to note it for you. So I'll be writing one statement, right, which is very important, which will cover most of the important things in the beats. So when beats is formed, what is the beats, right? So in शुद्ध हिंदी I'll say कि बीट्स तब बनता है, जैसे आप देखते हो ना, कभी कभी माइक चलता रहता है, व्हेन यू हियर सम इन पब्लिक स्पीकिंग केसेस, लाइक इन स्कूल फंक्शंस और इन religious activities, when sometimes two mics are, or something, two sound input devices are played, then or you can say in some cases मतलब that is internal functioning of the music systems. So sometimes you hear a noise of beep, right, in between someone is speaking, and suddenly in between it comes a sound, a beep sound comes, right? So sometimes beep, because beep, that sound vanishes after some time, because someone uh, the operator does something, right? So but beats has a frequency, beat has a tendency. When you will be listening a beat, I'll tell you. So the question is, the important thing, you should note it, right, and you should try to cover it. The concept is ki when, I'll write the exact sentence, when two waves, two wave trains, right, same thing, when two wave trains of nearly the same frequency, right, nearly the, when two wave trains of nearly the same frequency traveling along, traveling along traveling along the same traveling along the same line in the same direction, same line in the same direction, superpose each other, superimpose each other, they give rise to, they give rise to periodic, to periodic periodic alternations of maximum and minimum loudness of sound of I'll explain everything, just write first. Maximum and minimum loudness of sound, maximum and minimum loudness of sound. एक minute. Loudness of sound, which are called as beats, which are called as beats. Okay, so try to understand. So what is the what is do you understand from it? See, simple thing is, when you have the important thing, when you have two wave trains, right? You should have two wave trains of nearly the same frequency, right? When you have two wave trains of nearly the same frequency and traveling in the same line in the same direction, very important, right? These three criteria: same frequency, same direction, traveling. When they superimpose each other, and then they give rise to periodic alternation. मतलब the nature will be periodic, means it will have a frequency, it will have a frequency of maximum and minimum while loudness. मतलब there will be one beep sound of maximum volume, right? It may be something beat may be of minimum volume also. मतलब sometime that maximum sound will come, and sometime the loudness will be very slow, which is this is called as beats, right? So the derivation I'll not be doing, but you should understand that let's say if you have two waves of two different frequency, like let's say first wave is a sine omega 1 t minus kx, and suppose second wave is a sine omega 2 t minus kx. Omega 1 matlab basically omega 1 is what, 2 pi f1, frequency 1. Omega 2 is 2 pi f2. So basically f1 and f2 are approximately equal. So the beat frequency will be difference of these two frequency. So you need not understand which one, f1 minus 2 or f2 minus f1. Whatever is larger, subtract the smaller one from the larger frequency. So this is difference. This could be f1 minus f2 if f1 is greater than f2, and this could be equal to f2 minus f1 is if f2 is greater than f1. So this will be known as beat frequency. Now beat time period will be also, that will be 1 upon beat frequency, that is 1 upon f1 minus f2. So you can understand कि greater will be the beat frequency, smaller will be the time interval, and lesser will be the beat frequency, greater will be the time interval for the beats, right? So this is the basic important, only this is the concept, right? And now we'll do some question. There is two important things, right? Two important things I'll tell you about the beats before starting the question. There are two things. Let's say usually you can say the f1 minus f2 will be less than or equal to 10 hertz, right? This will be something in this order, right? In some exception cases it may increase 10 hertz also, but usually beat frequency will be less than 10 hertz, right? The difference between the frequency would be less than 10 hertz, right? So let's say you have tuning fork, right? What is now the question is, what is tuning fork? Tuning fork is a device to generate the two frequencies, right? To generate the frequency. tuning fork. If you know it, this is something of this shape, right? It's something of this shape. In the laboratories, you can see like this. So let's say you have a tuning fork. This is, let's say, A. So you can do two things in it. Either you can do filing. We say filing or loading. Loading with wax. Usually we do these two things in the tuning fork. So what will be happening? Let's say when you will file it, file means you are scraping the arms of the tuning fork. मतलब बेसिकली हम इसको छीलते हैं, ट्यूनिंग फोर्क को बेसिकली हम छीलते हैं, राइट? तो व्हेन वी हम जब ट्यूनिंग फोर्क को छीलते हैं तो मतलब क्या होगा? द ट्यूनिंग फोर्क विल बिकम थिनर, and when tuning fork will become thinner, the frequency will increase. The frequency of tuning fork will increase. How? Means you can say when you are scrapping, it means you are basically you are reducing the value of this one. What is mu? This is mass per unit length, linear mass density. When you are scrapping means t mu you are decreasing, and mu you are decreasing, the frequency is what? Under root t by mu, है ना? So your mu is decreasing means v will increase, therefore you can say frequency will increase. When you will it load with x means your mass mu, that is mass per unit length, you are actually increasing it, and when you will increasing it, it means it is becoming thicker. जब ये मोटा बन जाएगा तो आवाज पतली नहीं आएगी. तो सुनो ना, मोटे से जब चीजों को पटकोगे ऐसे तो फ्रीक्वेंसी विल भी वाइब्रेट कम करेगा, लेकिन बहुत पतली सी चीज हो उसको ऐसे करते हैं तो वाइब्रेट ज्यादा करता है. वाइब्रेट ज्यादा करता है मतलब फ्रीक्वेंसी ज्यादा है, वाइब्रेट कम करता है मतलब फ्रीक्वेंसी कम है. इट सिंपली मीन्स कि हियर द फ्रीक्वेंसी विल रिड्यूस. Frequency will reduce. So for example, let's say if someone is saying there is a two tuning fork A and B, one is having 110 hertz frequency, another is having 116 hertz frequency. So what is the beat frequency? You can say simply beat frequency will be 116 minus 110, therefore 6 hertz, है ना? 6 hertz. So this will be the frequency, right? Chalo. Now we have some questions, right? This is the question. First question is, a tuning fork C produces 8 beats per second with a tuning fork D of frequency 340 Hz, right? What does it mean? A tuning fork C produces 8 beats per second with a fork D of frequency 340 Hz. One means D has a frequency of 340 Hz. It is having the beats of 8 beats per second with C. So C may have two frequency. Either it can be 332 or it can be 348. There are two possibilities, right? Any two possibility can happen because the difference has to be 8 beats. When the prongs of C are filed a little, means you are increasing the frequency or decreasing the frequency. Basically you are increasing the frequency. So when you are increasing the frequency, you are filed a little, the beats per second decrease to 4. So earlier the beat is 8, now the beat has to be 4. So you tell me, if you are decreasing the frequency, you are increasing. If you will increase 348, then difference will increase more. 340, let's say it will become 350. So difference will be 10 Hertz. But if you will increase this 332, let's say you are increasing it to 336, then the beat will be 340 minus 336, therefore it will be 4 Hertz. So you can say, so what is the frequency before filing? If 348 is the frequency before filing, then on filing it, the frequency will increase more and the beat will increase. 340 difference will increase. But when you are taking 332 frequency before filing, then if you are filing it, the frequency will increase. Means let's say 332 has increased, and then it is possible that beat will be of 4, right? Beat frequency will be, beat per second will be 4, right? So therefore you can say this is not possible. This is the frequency which can be before filing. So answer will be 332 Hertz. Understood? Let's the next question. A tuning fork B produces 4 beats per second with another tuning fork C of frequency 512 hertz. So let's say 512 hertz means C has frequency of 512 hertz. B with B it is producing 4 beats, means it can be either 508 or it can be either 516 because the beat is 4. When the prongs of B are filed a little, means frequency of B is increased, because filing frequency of B is increased, it means it will increase. Uh, then the beats occur at shorter intervals. Shorter intervals means frequency, beat frequency increases, right? Shorter intervals means beat frequency is large, right? Beat, because I have told you, time period is 1 upon f1 minus f2. So shorter intervals mean greater the beat frequency, means beat frequency will increase. Beat frequency will increase when, let's say you are increasing this 508 will be increased, let's say it become 510, so beat frequency will decrease. But since you have to increase the beat frequency, it means you have to since you have to increase that beat frequency, and also you are filing the prongs of B, it means this, on filing the frequency will be increasing, so 516 will become something 518, right? 518. So in this case the beat frequency will be 512 minus 518, it will become 6. Beat frequency has increased. But in this case if you are filing, so it will become 510 and the beat will become 2, so it will not be increased. So this cannot be the case, this will be the case, therefore 516 will be the answer, right? Before filing the frequency of B was 516 hertz. Correct? Any doubt? Let us move to the next question. Two tuning forks, two tuning forks A and B when sounded together gives 4 beats per second. Okay. The frequency of A is 480 hertz. The frequency of A is 480 hertz. When B is filed, see, so it is giving 4 beats, means B can have two frequencies, either 476 or 484. 476 hertz or 484 hertz, two possibilities. The frequency of A is 480 when B is filed. Now when B is filed and the two forks sounded together, so when B is filed, it means, see, when B is filed, it means the frequency of B is increasing, correct? The two forks are 4 beats per second are heard again. Find the frequency of this. See. Now frequency is increasing. It means, let's say 484 will increase. If 484 will increase, then it will become 486, and this will be 480. So in this case, if you are increasing 484, the frequency difference will, in that case, will always be greater than 4 hertz, because 484 minus 40 were 4 hertz, but when 484 will be increased to 486, difference will be 6 hertz. When it will be increased to 487, difference will become 7 hertz. Matlab, if the frequency of in earlier case is 484 hertz, then after filing it can never come again, the difference can never again be equal to 4. But if you are considering this case 476 hertz, then if you are increasing it, then obviously, let's say you are changing it to 478, the difference will become 2 hertz. But it is saying 4 beats per second is heard again, so it may be possible that you are increasing in such that you have increased it to 484, and when you will increase it to 484, in that case the beat will again with become 4 hertz, right? So therefore this can be the case that 476 could be a possible answer, because if you will pile it, means you will increase the frequency, and suppose in increasing the frequency of B has become 484, so the total will be 4 hertz. Difference can still be 4 hertz, right? So therefore this cannot be possible, but 476 hertz is the answer, right? 476 hertz is the possibility. correct? Now filing has been done, there is another also loading with wax. So let's say this question: two tuning fork A and B produces 5 beats per second. Frequency of A is 256 hertz, and 5 is the beat frequency, so frequency of B will be 256 minus 5, so it can be 251 hertz, or it can be 250, sorry, 256 plus 5 means 261, so it can be 251 or 261. Two possibilities. If one of the prongs of B is loaded with facts, so you are loading, you are doing loading. Loading means you are basically reducing the frequency. So you are reducing the frequency, right? On reducing the frequency, the number of beats is found to increase. The number of beats will increase when now the frequency. So if you will reduce this one 261, let's say it will become it, make it 260. So beat will become what? 4. So beat frequency has been reduced, but we have to increase it. So let's say if we are considering 251 Ks, then if we are loading it with wax, means frequency is decreasing. Frequency decreasing, let's say it will become 250. So 250, the beat frequency will be 256 minus 250, therefore 6, which is increased, right? So therefore this is not the possible case. 251, this is the possible case. So answer will be 251 hertz will be the frequency of 251 hertz will be the frequency of fork B before loading with wax. So I think this was the question, basic questions based on the beats, right? And try to understand it, try to solve more questions based on it, try to solve the theoretical questions also based on it, right? I have given you all the basic information of the theory. No need to go in very detail, no need to go the derivation, because derivations are not important. The important thing is same frequency traveling in same direction, superimpose each other, then you hear some maximum and minimum loudness of the sound, which is known as beats, right? So these are the beats. Let's meet in the next class. Till then, bye bye and good night, and in the next class we'll be discussing Doppler's effect and ray optics, everything, right? So bye bye guys.